January the 10th, or we are on January the 10th, that should be, and we are in Numbers 25, 26, and 27. Psalm 63 is our psalm of the day. I want to share a resource on Psalms pretty soon. One I found actually during the pandemic. A psalm resource of a couple who went through and they recorded some really cool vocals with all 150 psalms and just some modern interpretations, like some more than others. And I wanted to share that resource with you because sometimes it's helpful to kind of think about these psalms in music. As you read the psalms, it actually tells us some of them that the tune that it goes to, or how it's to be played, or what instruments go with it. Of course, we've lost all of that. We don't know that, and this is translated into English, so from Hebrew. So the music doesn't always line up as we do something like that. So I just wanted to share that resource with you, and I'm gonna put that down in the links. Can't put it in the video because copyright and all that, and I want you to be able to support their work as well by you just clicking on it and watching it on YouTube. But Numbers, real quick, Numbers 27. We're in Numbers 25, 26, and 27. 25 is an interesting case that happens about that we mentioned yesterday about Israel, while Balaam's up on the mountains around Israel while they're encamped, trying to curse them, but can't because God is making him bless the nation of Israel. And while this prophet for hire is blessing Israel, Israel is in the valley, breaking the covenant they made with Yahweh, with the Lord God, and worshiping Baal and being brought along into that. And that leads to some consequences, some temporal consequences for the nation of Israel, including a plague going among them, some of them being killed because of this breaking of the covenant, but not all of them. God is merciful, and we see that in chapter 26 because we see how many people are there when we come to the second census in the book of Numbers. But to highlight something in chapter 27, what I appreciate is this account, and you can kind of miss it in the book of Numbers because it's not right at the end. It's kind of tucked in right here. But that leadership mantle being passed from Moses onto Joshua. Moses is told by God, you're going to go up on this mountain let me just read it. Numbers rather, 27 verse 12. The Lord said to Moses, "Go up on this mountain of the Abraham range and see the land that I will give in the Israelites. After you have seen it, you also will be gathered up to your people as Aaron your brother was. When the community quarreled in the wilderness of Sin, both of you rebelled against my command to demonstrate my holiness in their sight at the waters." You remember, instead of speaking to the rock in the name of the Lord, he strikes the rock. Those were the waters of Meribah, Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. And Moses appealed to the Lord. And look what he appeals for. He doesn't appeal for his life. He appeals for the people and the leadership of them. Moses says in Numbers 27:16, "May the Lord, the God who gives breath to all, appoint a man over the community who will go out before them and come back in before them, and who will bring them out and bring them in so that the Lord's community won't be like a sheep without a shepherd." And the Lord replied to Moses, "Take Joshua son of Nun, a man who has the Spirit in him, and lay your hands on him. Have him stand before the priest Eleazar and the whole community and commission him in their sight. Confer some of your authority on him, so that the entire Israelite community will obey him. He will stand before the priest Eleazar, who will consult the Lord for him with the decision of the Urim. He and all the Israelites with him, even the entire community, will go out and come back, and at his command." Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua, had him stand before the priest Eleazar and the entire community, laid his hands on him, commissioned him as the Lord had spoken through Moses. So there's that public display of that leadership mantle being passed on. So there's no doubt who's going to be in charge after Moses is dead and gone. And we're not done with Moses yet, but we kind of see the Lord's plan here. We've got to finish up the rest of Numbers, and then we have Deuteronomy, his kind of final speech, final sermon, summarizing what the nation has gone through, and then also giving them some warnings and some encouragement about what they are yet to face. And we'll actually talk a little bit about that, prepare you for that this weekend in worship. But I appreciate Moses' words here, that his concern is that the Lord's communities will be like a sheep without a shepherd. And of course, you hear echoes that in Jesus' own statement as he weeps over Jerusalem, as he looks at Jerusalem, and he laments over them, and he laments that they are sheep without a shepherd, without someone to lead them, without someone to guide them. And Moses, earlier on, says the same thing of Israel and desires that leadership mantle to be passed. He knows it's hard. already knows it's heavy, but he wants the Lord to pick his appointed man, and so he chooses Joshua to continue on the work that is there. And what a blessing that is. As you think about it in your own life and your own callings, perhaps that as you see other people that you can place to pass the torch on, maybe in your own leadership responsibilities, just recognizing that we're all here temporary, and that we get the ability to see in other people leadership skills and abilities and talents, and be able to give some of our authority and our power to them so that they too can lead, and so that the Lord's work continues to be done in not just us, in those around us. That's one of the things that I was think about when I hear of how God works through this whole situation, passing it on through Joshua, who we'll read about a little bit more. We've read a little bit about him so far in the Old Testament, but we'll hear a lot more about him in the book of Joshua as that mantle is officially passed to him and as they pass into the promised land. But we're not going to be back in Joshua for a couple months, so we'll be going back to the Gospel of Luke, and we'll be in some of the epistles, and then we'll get on back this way in the Old Testament as well. But just wanted to share that with you, and wanted to share that link to, I'm going to put it in the comments here for Psalm 69, or rather Psalm 63. Psalm 63 is where we're at today, a psalm of David when he was in the wilderness of Judah. So that's a interesting psalm, and I'm going to share in the links at least on Facebook here, from the Poor Bishop Hooper, every psalm, Psalm 63. They have a resource on every single psalm, and I sometimes find it helpful to listen to. They might not always pick on the phrase that I kind of lean on, like this psalm. The phrase that came to me is that Psalm 63 verse 3, "My lips will glorify you because your faithful love is better than life." Your faithful love is better than life. And that just echoes. I've heard that echo by a number of songwriters, not psalm writers, songwriters in their songs. That idea that the steadfast love of God is better than life, that his steadfast faithfulness lasts throughout our life here and our life yet to come. So that steadfast love of God is that which guides our steps and directs our paths into his presence and into his mercy and grace. So I'm going to share that link with that every psalm here below on Facebook, so you can kind of listen to it, and you can listen to some of the other ones too, or you can just find it on Google too. Just say, Psalm 63 every psalm, or Psalm 63 Poor Bishop Hooper, and it'll give you the versions of the psalms that they do, and they're helpful in bringing a modern day musical setting to the English version of these psalms as we continue to pray them to the Lord and join with David and those who have gone before us in praying these psalms and trusting God to answer us when we call to him. I pray that you're going well in this Bible binge. If you've fallen behind, let me just encourage you. Next Monday is a great day to start over again. Deuteronomy is a recap of some of the places we've been, so you actually feel like you got caught up if you missed some stuff, and so it would be a perfect place to reconnect, and especially reconnect this weekend in worship. We'll be in person on Saturday at 5:30, Sunday morning 8:30 and 10:30. We'll hopefully be streaming. We've been having some issues with our streaming source, and so hopefully that'll be all fixed and ready to go for you. As we know, many of you watch online and connect that way, and also reconnect that way and share it with other people as well. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you as well. May God bless you in this day ahead. May his word be a lamp to your feet and a light to your path as you discover once again that his love, his steadfast love, is